Females are sheep. You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds...
This man said females are sheep.
Because attention. Most people can't do what I can do because most people cannot be as entertaining as I am by simply just sitting down talking.
I think it's fair to argue that no one, and I mean...
There is an Andrew Tate fan right now that's like, of course you're not going to like what he says. You have a vagina. Tate Speech. Depression isn't real? Yo, he said that?
I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
The ego.
Basically, now the most famous man on the planet. Look it up. I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
The more extreme you are, the better you are at the game.
Because it's the juice. And if you don't have the juice, you don't have it. So if you don't have the juice, you can't capitalize.
Fill the room with the juice. That's a lot of loot. That bit fire. Yeah, she kinda.
Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. I am exhausted. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna put a mask on in this video. I'm not going to do anything with my skin at all in this video. I'm just going to simply react, watch, and sip. And what's interesting about this particular video is I found myself, one, super excited to watch it. Really, really excited to watch it. And then I paused and I thought, why am I hiding this Andrew Tate content? Meaning, I have been asked, hey, you ever thought about talking about Andrew Tate? Da, 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 da. And I have been running from the thought of it. I don't like that I'm also hiding my thoughts behind it. I feel like that also is not good. So let me first just say, I don't know what we're getting ourselves into. I don't know how many parts this is going to be. This video is an hour long. I doubt we're going to get all the way through. Secondly, I don't know nothing about this man. What I know is this year, really end of last year, was when I realized that a lot of the men that I attract, I don't want to say love Andrew Tate, but at some point or another, I have realized or found out that they consume his content, whether they follow him, whether I see them like a post, whether they post about it, whatever it may be, right? And it wasn't until I believe a little bit after June maybe, or maybe even, no, I think it was actually April. I can't remember exactly, but there came a time where people were very much like, Andrew Tate's awful and this person's terrible and we need to take him down. And my FYP page was just very much Andrew Tate, terrible, must take him down, whatever. So I was just like, okay, all right, interesting. I'm there for it. Like we don't need bad in this world, right? So I came to realize, and I say this because I do have guy friends, and I think that's because I don't want to say a lot of my guy friends, but I do have guy friends that are comfortable coming to me and talking to me about like situations they have with other females, or a threesome they had over the weekend, or I don't know, this girl that keeps asking for money continuously and he's like, I just don't understand, like, what, does she actually really like me? Does she not like me? Whatever it may be, right? Like I do have friends of the opposite sex that are absolutely comfortable having those conversations, as well as doing other things such as being comfortable talking about Andrew Tate, stuff like that. But what I realized is, I don't know when this happened exactly, but I started to see that they were putting this content on their close friends. So instead of it being, the world is right, let's take down Andrew Tate, it was, we're still for Andrew Tate, but now we have to hide it. Like that was what it was like. And it was really interesting. And I remember I had a conversation with one guy, and I was like, can you explain to me like your love for Andrew Tate and your hate for Elon Musk? And very interesting conversation. Won't go into details of it. That right there is another example. It's like this man hates Elon Musk, but was uplifting Andrew Tate to the point where I was just like, yo, explain it to me. Like, I don't even want to be a hater. I just want to understand like your perspective. And I think because I do have a very comfortable expression of my masculine energy, that men tend to pick that up. So I've been in situations where I intimidate men, or, you know, I'm the person that's like, oh, you're independent. Oh my gosh, let me tell y'all this before we hop in here, because this had me shook. Okay, so I was at a bar. I was with like girls that I'm friends with, but we don't necessarily have the same mix and taste in men. And one of the guys asked me, if I paid my own rent or something along. Okay, basically the song INDEPENDENT, do you know what that means? That song was on, right? And I think it was like two other girls, and we were just like, we were just like dancing, and the guys didn't like that. And they were like, "Oh, you're independent, like, oh, you claim you're an independent girl, like whatever." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I pay my own rent, I pay my own bills, like I don't necessarily rely on a man." And he was like, "Oh, okay, so you're not getting fucked." Yeah, just like that. He said it just like that. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. So I can't simultaneously pay my own bills and have sex at the same time. Interesting. Very interesting perspective. So with that being said, guys, yeah, I don't really know my opinion on Andrew Tate, at least a cohesive one right now. So I feel like this video is really gonna just nail it in a coffin for me. But with that being said, I have had my fair share of toxic masculinity, so I don't necessarily think that we need a man to be the head of it. I think it's very innate and original and very much organic within most men, and that's just the world we live in. I don't even know if we realize most of the time that it is toxic masculinity, right? Because I'm sure maybe not, but you could be working in a job right now where, all of the managers are men, or all of the C-levels are men, or something of that nature, and that is what you could consider toxic masculinity. But I'm sure you're not going to say anything, and I'm sure you're still going to collect that 8 to 5 check so that you can pay your bills, right? So you see what I mean? We just live in that kind of world. So let's get in this. I'm excited and I'm ready to shut the hell up. All right, I will do my best with the audio. Okay, I did see your comment. Trust me, I'm trying for you, baby, for you.
If I was going to be afraid of anything on the planet, the last thing I'd be afraid of is getting cancer. When they go to cancel you, ladies and gentlemen, it comes hard and fast.
Sure does.
I'm more Googled than Donald Trump, Joe Biden. Look it up. I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
The ego.
I basically agree with a lot of the things I say.
Can we just pause right here and just say, cruel world, happy mind, girl. Been watching you for a very long time. If you've been on this channel for a long time, you know that I've been watching her for a long time. Even when she was back in her little kitchen, girl, yeah, we remember. So look at this content. Like, I love seeing YouTubers grow. You guys, like, I pray that I will be at this level one day, because it's just beautiful to see.
What color shirt again?
Her editor is amazing too. Like, fire. Like, look at this.
Social media has become a game to race
Girl,
for the
preach.
most likes, have the most outrageous takes.
Females are sheep. You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds...
This man said females are sheep.
Because they've been through lesbian.
The flashy
Woo! I'm having flashbacks.
What color shirt again? Oh, fuck off then.
And the more extreme you are, the better you are at the game.
I think my sister is her husband's brother.
The easier it is to get attention.
I'm now the most famous man on the planet. Look it up. I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
And that's all that social media has really become, a bidding war for attention.
Most people can't do what I can do because most people cannot be as entertaining as I am by simply just sitting down talking.
I think it's fair to argue that no one, and I mean almost no one, has ever been as good at the game of social media as Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate's the most famous man you've probably never heard of. The chances are your children will have videos of Tate if you've viewed billions of times online. He's got an enormous following, mostly young men, and is often
This man was on the news?
women that have made him notorious across the world.
Within a matter of 1 to 2 months, Andrew Tate's fame and notoriety rose in intense popularity.
Andrew Tate, a guy that basically no one knew about until 6 months ago, and is now somehow more searched than Mr. Beast, Kanye West.
In such an extreme that Andrew Tate's Google searches outranked major mainstream celebrities. Andrew Tate is a social media figure who seemingly broke the internet and then outraged it. But at what cost? Well, at the cost of his entire social media platform.
I can literally see how the men that I'm thinking about right now look up to this. Absolutely, yeah. I tend to attract men with huge egos. So big, they don't even know what world they're in. But just seeing that beginning right now, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Yeah, maybe I should have watched this by myself.
On the planet banned him.
Because since August of 2022, Andrew Tate has been banned from all social media platforms. But why? Because in the age where TikTok has taken over the world, and instead of reading a book, people watch a YouTube analysis breakdown of a social media figure. Hi, what you say and do on the internet really, really matters and has real life consequences. And in some ways, you are what you post. And Andrew Tate's takes have been less than favorable in the eyes of the public.
He's gonna read this kind of soft. I'll tell you the truth. It doesn't matter whether a woman wants to be a lawyer or a housemaker or a webcam girl. Unless she has a man directing her, she's just not built to be completely independent. The women who go, I'm strong and independent.
I should have watched this myself. I can't take this man seriously. Is he for real? First of all, listen. Anybody that needs to have a conversation with sunglasses on in any way, shape, form, if it's not for a short amount of time, and especially if it's on a camera for an interview like this, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Sir, you're hiding a lot. I don't know what it is, but psychology is letting me know you're hiding something. So I can't take you seriously at that point. You know, you've lost credibility just alone with that. Like, come correct or not at all.
Winning him both publicity and then cancellation.
Yeah, he don't look that good without his glasses. Look at that.
Social media platform banned Tate amid a global backlash and concerns about his influence on the young people who watch.
I just can't believe this man was actually on the news. Like, why do y'all feed these kind of people? I really was like, I'm not feeding this. I'm not feeding this kind of person. That's why I didn't react to it. I was like, this man's
is through his own family patriarchy.
Our dad was the f***ing man. And he taught us everything I needed to know about being a man. But he never had any f***ing money.
His grandfather, Emery A. Tate Sr., fought in World War II. After a lengthy tenure in the military, he relocated to Chicago and became a lawyer during racially charged times. Tate Sr. later had a son, Andrew Tate's father, Emery A. Tate Jr. Growing up,
that looked like a
Tate
black
Jr.
man.
learned to play chess before following in his father's footsteps and joining the military. But Andrew's father really stood out because of his chess playing ability.
In chess, there's very little
That's fire.
glory in chess.
Emery Tate Jr. earned a reputation as a creative and dangerous tactician on the U.S. chess circuit, where he won about 80 tournament games against grandmasters.
Okay, so
but before Tate Jr.'s illustrious chess career, Emery had 3 children with his English wife, the eldest being Emery Andrew Tate III, aka the Andrew Tate that this video.
So he's biracial? How did I not realize that? That makes a lot more sense now. I'll shut up, but those that know, we're here.
It was about. Andrew Tate described his childhood and experience being a baby, I guess, by saying, "I never learned to cry for attention, only used grunts to indicate hunger or discomfort. But mostly I was silent. I had a large new crib, but most every night I spent asleep on my dad's chest. He would place me there and sleep still, never moving in the night, and our heartbeats were and are as one." Sounds like Andrew was a little bit of a daddy's boy. But Andrew's father was largely absent from his life, and Andrew explained that his...
It's the way that you said that your hearts were one, as if the woman that gave you birth didn't have a... Let me shut up. Let me just be quiet.
Father's absence was mostly because since his military career had ended, he had to work overtime at multiple minimum wage jobs. But his parents' financial troubles gradually ruined their relationship. They eventually divorced, and his mother moved to the UK with the children, and they relocated to Luton, England, where Andrew was raised.
Not the same story as me. Well, not exactly, but moved from London to America due to financial issues, got divorced. Yeah, I really should have watched this by myself. It's the way I really just got up. This might be emotional, huh? If you know where my brain is going, then you might know. If you don't, then it's good that you don't. Let's keep going.
During his childhood.
Our mother and father got divorced. Dad stayed in America to play chess. We moved to Luton, England, lived in a council house. Homeless shelter first for 2 years. Homeless shelter along with all the colony. We moved into a council house. Mother was on the dole. She ended up getting a job as a dinner lady one time. That was it. We were raised on $300 a month. Our father was a professional chess player, driving from chess tournament to chess tournament in a Pontiac Sunbird.
As soon as he was old enough, Andrew got a job moving 80-pound boxes of frozen fish into the market at 5 a.m. before school. Weekends found me at the market stall where I perfected my knife skills, flawlessly filleting fish at blinding speeds. After some time, I never cut my hands at all, not even a nick.
I can't wait to get to the part of why you hate women. Like, I am very excited for that because and it's not even just Andrew Tate. I can't explain to you how many men I've been around that obviously I'm not an idiot. I know that they see women as low value, but I will put myself in a situation and dumb myself down to really just see the environment that I'm in. I hate that I do this, but I've told you guys this before in the past, and what I love doing is finding out where this story started. Like, what happened? Like, did you catch your mom cheating? You know, like when was the flip where you were like, all women ain't nothing and I hope they just, you know, continue to be the sheep that they need to be so that us men can continue to do what we need to do. Like, I'm actually very interested in that concept, and I think some people reject it and see it as like, you're a terrible person, you should love your mother, point blank and period, and that's it. But unfortunately, not everyone is a great person just because they have a vagina, right? The same with them having a penis. It's just not how it works.
Described about his experience working at the fish market. And it's interesting listening to the way that Andrew talks about his childhood because of the way he sort of sees it all through very rose-colored glasses, as if every hardship he went through during his time as a child was some sort of test to make him stronger, when in reality a lot of the hardships that Andrew had to endure were really just that, hardships, not the most ideal circumstances. An absent father, having to work at a fish factory at a young age, his parents struggling financially.
Right, but he has to see it that way. He has to. That's how we survive. We have to see it as hardships and tests and something that needs to be fixed or rectified so that we can then survive. Because if we see it as just hardship, then we start looking at like, okay, so well, why did I deserve this hard life when Bumbo over here is, you know, in the Kardashian family, whatever it may be, right? I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up because I don't know this man, right? But I do want to know why he hates women. I do. I really want to.
Being encouraged to fight from the age of 4, no one really knows what the right or perfect childhood is, but I think we can all agree that there are certainly better circumstances to grow up in.
True.
6 or 7, and there was these 2 kids who were maybe 9 or 10 who used to pick on me from behind, right? They used to pick on me on the bus all the time, and I came home to my dad and I said they picked on me. He was like, what are you gonna do about it? I said, well, I don't know what to do. They're bigger than me. And he goes, you have a lunchbox? That was his answer. So anyway, they kept picking on me, and after about 10 days, when they were picking on me, after about 2 weeks later, I remember, one of them slapped me on the side of the face. It stung, and I turned around my lunchbox and smashed him clean in the face.
Of course, it's never productive to wallow in self-pity, but I find it interesting that Andrew isn't really willing to admit, even to himself, that his childhood wasn't really the best.
No.
I know a lot of people.
And right there is where the narcissism comes into play. Because if he never stopped and said, hey, I need to go to therapy to figure out, you know, why I'm this way, and he just continued to go, then you start to develop this narcissistic personality that you don't even realize that you have. And as somebody who has lived with somebody with that personality type and doesn't realize that they have it, it's freaking scary because they are in like survival mode of like everything that I do is right. And the reason that it is because I got out of the hardest life and you can't tell me nothing about that because you didn't have a hard life. Like, that's how they operate. It's really interesting. I mean, literally, this is why I double minored in psychology, you guys. Like, I really wanted to figure out how and why people think the way they think, because it's so fascinating.
We'll talk about toxic masculinity, pointing the finger at the man as the culprit. But looking at Andrew's upbringing, you can really see how much of his toxicity
not that looking like Drake Daddy
created through his environment and what those raising him had passed down.
Yeah, generational.
It feels like toxic masculinity is really an environment that men are submerged into. Learn to fight, be tough, be the man of the house. Just deal with an either emotionally or physically absent father. Push your emotions down. Be strong. It's a sort of environment men are submerged into that they have to exist within so they can stay afloat and not drown.
I want to agree with you, but I can't because I know that it's not just men. And because I know that, as a female that holds more masculine energy than most females that I come across, that is the core. Right there. Survival. No one's going to save you. No man's going to come and help you. No Prince Charming is going to come pay your rent. You have to survive by your damn self. But that's what I was raised on. So I don't know if I could call that toxic femininity. I would still consider it toxic masculinity in the aspect of it just coming from a mother figure instead of a father figure. At least that's how I'm seeing it. But again, I don't even think that this masculine or toxic masculine energy of like, who cares about your emotions? You need to make money and have the most money in the world. And if you don't, then you ain't nobody and you ain't nothing. Like, that is toxic. And that is not just only for men. And I think, again, going back to my point, which is why I think some of my guy friends are more comfortable having those kind of conversations with me, because I see that survival mode a little differently compared to as a female. Sometimes I see it more so as like they think of their assets or their body and things like that, where I think, oh my God, I need to work so freaking hard, which is what most men think. I don't know if I'm making sense, but if I am, please press 1.
Talking about Andrew's childhood, upbringing, and the environment he was in isn't to necessarily bring sympathy to Andrew
Right.
or explain away and justify all
I just want to
the
understand
things he's done.
Yeah.
But it is important to note because, as I've said before, no one person exists within a vacuum. There's usually a reason why people believe what they do,
Ding,
and
ding.
most of the time it's because they've had to believe that in order to exist within their environment.
There we
And
go.
That's what Andrew Tate seemingly did. He existed within his environment and pushed to try and succeed as much as he can.
I grew up very, very poor, so I can still remember being poor. I grew up with nothing, truly. My family, my mother and father, they got divorced when we were in Indiana. My mother moved back to England. My father stayed in America. My father unfortunately died. My mother and my brother and...
What's interesting about this part is when I think about the hardships financially, right? So when I think about when like I had to eat cereal with water and I didn't understand why we didn't have milk, or not being able to go to the dentist, or just, again, there's different stages of being poor or financially not stable, whatever word you want to use it. But I literally don't like thinking about it. I don't like talking about it. I don't like bringing it up. And I know that I should, because obviously it lets people know like, oh, I was there once, or maybe you're there now, and maybe one day you want to get out of it and you want to be able to look back at it, or whatever it may be, right? But I feel uncomfortable talking about it. I don't know where that comes from. So it's interesting hearing him talk about this, because I mean, just to be honest, he seems comfortable having this conversation, but I don't feel comfortable talking about it most of the time. And when I do, sometimes people are surprised. They're like, what? Like, I thought you were always good. Like, and it's like, well, I was raised like that. I was raised to externally tell the world that I'm great, when internally we may not even have the water on, right? Or the electricity might be off for 2 days. But you go out in the world and everything is good, and you better not ever let anybody know that it wasn't. So it's interesting that his perspective is it's so different. Like and I don't know if does he seem guarded to you here? I'm feeling like he seems guarded to you. I feel like let me know.
My sister, we grew up in the free houses that the government give you, so the projects of England, in the town called Luton, which was voted the worst town in England.
It's the way that you're actually complaining about that, when I know people that would be ecstatic for that opportunity. But hey, I get it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know what area you're talking about too, so I get it. But there are people here that would kill to go there and have that experience instead of like the Section 8s here in America. So I've seen both sides, and I'm telling you, over there is better. It is. Sorry.
School, he was at the top of his class, but opted to join the
course he
workforce
was.
instead of continuing his education.
Makes
I've been
sense.
complaining for a very long time that traditional education's a scam.
In 2009, Tate allegedly sold television advertising as his main income.
Interesting.
So from very
I
early
did that.
on, Tate was learning all the components of media and marketing. In that same year, Andrew Tate started his professional kickboxing career.
As you know, my name is Andrew Tate.
As you know,
Boxing world champion.
Tate had been practicing.
if that wasn't a manifestation right there, as you know, my name is Andrew Tate. We didn't know who he was. You saw that picture. We would have never thought that that was an Andrew Tate. If I saw that today, I would have been like, that's Andrew Tate. I thought Andrew Tate had glasses on and he's bald. But you see how he was already projecting out into the universe that he was somebody that big? When he was nobody sitting in what was that, a passenger seat? Was that a passenger seat? You guys, it's the way I'm pulling out freaking lessons out of his life right now. I'm dead.
Boxing and martial arts on the side since 2005. In 2009, Tate scored noteworthy victories as part of the International Sport Karate Association. On April 25th, he won the kickboxing light cruiserweight title.
So what's your record now?
I don't even know what it is in MMA. I've fought MMA tight. I'm ISK and IKF British Kickboxing Champion as well.
Insane.
In May of 2012, he fought
Even down to having the different accents throughout his life. Literally same. Like, I've had a British accent, I've had American. People like, there's no way you're from the UK. You don't sound like you're from the UK. So weird hearing his voice now compared to what it sounded like when he was a
for
kid.
the It's Showtime 85
Yikes.
Max World title, which he ended up losing.
Andrew Tate amassed
Oh, he
a
lost?
kickboxing record.
We gotta highlight that.
Some places have a different number. But
He
they're around the
lost,
same.
guys.
76 and 9. That's the exact accurate number. That's kind of what I'm seeing.
I'm just
Regardless,
kidding.
a lot of
But
wins
I'm not,
and
you know.
not that many losses.
Why I think I fight? Do I enjoy it? No. Do I enjoy training? No. Do I enjoy cutting weight? No. Am I nervous? Yes. Do I think to myself, what am I doing? Yes.
So basically, in layman's terms, if you're like
How
me
old
and
is
don't
he?
fully understand the gravity of all those championships, Andrew was a decent kickboxer who had a decent career.
Why did I just realize that this man has the same name as my dad? I should have watched this by myself, child.
In front of him, but it seems like the life of a professional kickboxer was ultimately not the life that Andrew wanted to live. It seems like to Andrew, he believed he had some great ideas that he wanted to share with the world, and of course, make enough money to buy a Bugatti in the process.
What's his zodiac
I'm
sign?
so tired because one day I woke up and I looked
That's
at
the
my life
question.
and thought, I'm giving 7 hours a day to fighting. If I were to put 7 hours a day into something else, what else could I achieve? And I thought, what's the point of being a world champion if I can't buy Lambos on the debit card, right? But fighting's a scary thing, you know? If I had my way and I could build myself as an individual, I would have never chosen to be a fighter.
Tate Speech. Depression isn't real? Yo, he said that? Oh, chill. You're literally
In
like
2015, Tate
harming
stopped
people
fighting
saying that.
professionally and looked for other ways to make money. And at the time, Andrew and his brother/business partner Tristan needed money quickly. I owed some money to some danger.
He's a Sagittarius. First of all, why are you the same sign as my dad on top of it? I don't like Sagittarius men, but I love my dad. But I don't date Sagittarius men. Even when a man tells me he's a Sagittarius, I'm like, I only want to be your friend. I'm scared of you. Please get away from me. And that's just how I see Sagittarius is, to be honest with you. I love them as friends, but when it gets to something more serious, it's like, yeah, this person is about to stab me in the back with 5 knives, sharpened.
People. I had $70,000 and needed $100,000 to stay alive.
So I owed some money to some dangerous people. We won't tell that story. But I needed money fast. And I had 70 grand, I needed 100 to stay alive.
Why did Andrew Tate need $100,000 to stay alive? That's a little sketchy. I'm picturing a sort of Bruce Willis Pulp Fiction scenario, if you get my reference. So how was Andrew gonna get $100,000 within a short time period? Well, Andrew's first idea was to bet $20,000 at a roulette at a casino. That's a great idea. And he ended up
Fireside
losing
energy.
it all.
So I thought, you know what? I'm sitting there. I had 70 grand cash in my house. I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes, Tate, God just loves you and you just get lucky.
Oh,
The casino,
there it goes.
you're gonna make the 30.
It's so
Still
weird.
twisting my plan. It's like, bro,
I'm like,
what if you don't do it? It's like, bro, if I don't do it, we're
I can hear his accent a little
Get
bit.
us eventually, we're gonna end up dead.
There's like certain
So-
words.
I took 20 of the money, went to the
took.
casino,
I took.
and lost it all.
Definitely
Interesting.
business.
I like
With
it.
only
It kind of
one
sounds like
week to
Canadian.
make $50,000, Andrew began plotting ways to make money more quickly, to get rich quick. And according to Tate, he locked himself in a room until he came up with an answer.
So,
Yo,
I
I've
said
done
to
that
Tristan,
before.
We got a week
And it
to pay
works.
this money. I'm not gonna leave
Literally.
my bedroom.
Like, I need a
till I find
decision.
way to make 50 grand.
I need. I've done.
He started by writing down all of his assets.
You're crazy.
Sure, to
I know
him,
you're crazy because I've
of
done that.
course. Physical
Like, I'm not even
strength,
gonna touch my
but
phone.
couldn't fight, a BMW worth around $20K, and intelligence but no outlet.
I was watching some YouTube videos, like financial advice, and we're talking about assets, liabilities, etc. And I'm writing down all my assets. And I'm
Liability.
trying to work out what I have that's worth money.
What?
And the only thing I writ down, because I had a car, but what's that worth? Nothing.
Yo, his voice
I'm big and
is
strong, but
so
I'm already
interesting.
fighting. I can't think of anything else to do with that.
He forgot to write down that he's also a top G,
I'm top.
but he was going through a lot at the time, so I'm sure it just slipped his mind. Then a light bulb went off for Andrew Tate after seeing an ad for sexy webcam girls on the internet.
And by absolute coincidence, I'm going around the internet and I saw in the corner.
Yo, I can't even take his voice right now. I just I need a break. I can't. Oh God, I'm literally like.
You see this ad, Andrew? Andrew, what are you doing?
Before we continue, I was just on TikTok and I came across a TikTok of this woman talking about how she caught her husband of 10 years with another woman at the beach. And now she lives in her car because he left her to go live with the other woman. So she now lives in her car in California with her children. And the entire thing made me think, I don't think she's going to hate men, right? Like, she's still gonna at some point want to date another man, hopefully get married again, whatever, be in love, right? Where it made me think, why do you hate women? I really want to grasp and understand why Andrew Tate hates women. Because I feel like it would have been a lot easier for him to get with and not to say Candace. I don't know if Candace Owens would even be, I don't know. But I'm just trying to think of masculine women that are up there, Like he could have conjoined with one of them or a couple of them and it could have been a different experience. Or maybe he could have changed and revamped before all of this banning. But anyways, let's continue. You already know, I'm ready to see why this man hates women. Because a lot of men do. And it's interesting, right? But at the same time, they can say the same thing. A lot of women hate men too. But I think there needs to be a common grounding that obviously needs to happen, at least in this country. I'll tell you that much.
By absolute coincidence, I'm going around the internet and I saw in the corner, talk to live girls now.
Where did you see this ad, Andrew?
Right.
Andrew, were you doing other things when you locked yourself in that room? Because I only know of one place on the internet that shows ads for webcam girl websites, but
right.
We'll leave that be. I digress.
That was the eureka moment. I walked into my brother's bedroom and I said, we're going to start a webcam company. That was the beginning of it all.
And suddenly, Andrew had an epiphany. Andrew realized he could use the women in his life as assets to make him money. Interesting way to view it all. And Andrew added his 5...
And that's how I feel. That's how I feel when I come across men that are looking to use women as another bag that they can get at some point, whatever way it could be. Like, they may see something in that woman that woman doesn't see. And it's not necessarily like housewife or trophy wife. It's more so like, do you bring in enough sexual appeal to have a sense of value that I will now have in the world as you being by my side? Like, that is what I see with a lot of men these days. And it's so interesting because for me, especially back in the day, it was like, you dress too promiscuous. Like, why are you wearing those tight clothes? Whatever it may be. But now it's like men like women who are the Instagram baddies and they're in their, bikinis and they're doing all of that. And that's fine if you like that. And especially if you're comfortable as a woman doing that. But for me, it's just like, I personally wouldn't want to be with a man that would be okay with that because I would want you to be like, no, that's mine. You know what I mean? Not to say I want you to be possessive of me, but I want you to have a level of respect for my body to where you wouldn't necessarily want to find a way to make money through it, especially if it's not my idea. You know what I mean? But I feel this kind of man would definitely be the right kind of man to teach other men how to lure in those kind of women to then keep them as said assets. And that is exactly why I didn't want to talk about this man, because it just pisses me off. But you know what? Let me calm down. We're trying to give this person a chance here, okay? We're trying.
International girlfriends to his list of assets.
I'm trying.
The only thing I had was, because I've been fighting all around the world, I had these 6 girlfriends.
And then Andrew came up with a plan. Andrew and his brother Tristan messaged and
This man
out 7 girls to...
I can't even listen to this. You know, I think what bothers me is there's so many people that look up to him and look up at this that it doesn't even matter what I'm saying. It doesn't even matter right now, right? Because there is an Andrew Tate fan right now that's like, of course you're not going to like what he says. You have a vagina, right? And I get that. But this man literally just publicly said that he had 6 girlfriends around the world because he's been traveling. And what annoys me about that is that is what is looked up to. Yes, we can hear Drake say it in a song, but it's a song. Therefore, it has like this connotation of like, you know, we in a club and we just turning up, right? Whereas this is somebody that obviously is getting a lot of attention, successful. So, of course, why wouldn't a boy / man, whoever the heck, it doesn't really matter if you're immature, you're still a boy, right? You could be 45. But besides that, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you look up to that? Why wouldn't you look up to this? And that just all goes to the core of morality. And that is one thing that I think so many people don't have anymore. It sucks. Like, I really miss having conversations surrounding morality and not in the aspect of it being like a religious factor. Just talking in the aspect of like, yeah, I would never do that to somebody else. Whereas what I hear these days is, well, is it a trick? How much money we getting? You know, it's always something about gaining something from somebody else, and it literally drains my soul, because it's like, I don't care if this man is gonna get us a table at this club. I don't care. I can go and get a beer and be in my apartment and be just as satisfied. I don't need the whole, you know what I mean? But I get it. It shows a level of financial wellness that I think a lot of people are just going to continuously harp on. And what sucks is I can't even sit here and say it's just men. I can't even sit here and say what this man is doing right here, flying out 7 girls to whatever. That doesn't even matter, because I know there are females that are literally harping on the fact that they get flown out from this point to that point, and oh, he bought me this, he paid my rent, oh, he bought me a car, look at my Rollie, da 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 da. So of course, that's a whole nother aspect of toxic femininity that I think other people are ignoring, because it's like, oh, well, if a woman's happy, then a woman is happy, so nobody should be caring at all on the circumstances of it. Whereas when a man is just injecting that, we're just only seeing this part and not the 7 girls looking super excited, getting ready in the shower, like, oh my God, we're going to Andrew Tate, like, you know what I mean? Like, of course there are girls out there that are like that, and that is so scary. It's just terrifying, because it's like, you really don't need any level of substance these days, and that is what kills me. It sucks. It sucks.
Dinner at an upscale restaurant, and
oh, of course it's an upscale restaurant.
A business opportunity.
That's not
Andrew pitched his master plan to them, which was a webcam business with a 50-50 revenue split.
Ooh.
So the beginning of it was, I messaged my 6
I know they like that.
They're all coming to live with me, and I had a job for them in London. And the beginning of my cam empire was this tiny little apartment, me and my 2 girlfriends.
And thus,
6 to 2.
Retired kickboxer became Top G Cobra Tate off the backs, maybe literally, of women.
It wasn't exploitation. They wanted to do it. They were like, yeah, this could make some money. All right. And
boom. Do you hear that? It wasn't exploitation. They wanted to do it. And there is another aspect of the female side that so many people just want to ignore. And I'm not sitting here and I'm not defending Andrew Tate. Please don't get me wrong. But I think there's other aspects of the situation that other people are ignoring, because we're so hyper-focused on men, masculinity, and quite frankly, the fact that a lot of us can't get, abortions anymore. And that is just a whole nother conversation that is just pissing me off every damn day I wake up. But anyways.
And these 2 chicks started the company from the ground up. and we started doing 15, 16, 17-hour days.
Since the women were doing all the work for his business, doesn't that mean he's not alpha? Because he wasn't the one going out and providing.
Have you ever dated a girl that makes more money than you?
It's impossible.
The women were doing the webcam business was about.
Woo! I know there are some women right now that just would never see that to be funny at all. I know. I'm a different breed over here. I'm sorry. That was hilarious, bro. I can't. Oh my God. You see what I mean? It's like you say you want someone stable. You say you want somebody that's like of substance. I mean, I'm not saying that he said that, but in reality, right? Humans want that, right? But if a woman does come and she's gorgeous, funny, has a good personality, you could be her friend. Oh, she has money too? Oh no, absolutely a problem. Why is that such an issue? Like it shows that you're not actually an alpha, because if you were, honey, you would come in to triple that money. You would laugh at that money because you know that you're going to come in and double it, triple it, quadruple it. Why? Because you hold the real masculine energy. See, that is the kind of alpha I'm looking for. I don't know who these scallywags are, but anyways.
The women, right? So wouldn't that make him like not the alpha?
Girl.
That just kind of confuses me. I mean, I know I'm just a dumb
female with a vagina.
Hiding behind a group of women who are working their butts off, maybe literally, okay, sorry, to provide for his business and bring money to him. Doesn't that make Andrew beta? Please explain to me. How does that work? So anyways, Andrew's girlfriends moved in with him and they worked 15-plus-hour days chatting to lonely men online. And eventually, Andrew took control of their keyboards, feeling as though he knew more of what men wanted to hear than the women did.
The women who were on stream were beautiful, but they didn't have a clue what to say.
I have to walk away. I can't. Oh my God. Okay, let me sit down. Let me explain myself, okay? I hate that I have experience in this. Oh, I hate it, but I will tell it because it will teach you something. So he's not wrong. They don't. Women don't know what to say in these kind of roles. I haven't done webcam or anything like in the aspect of like sexuality, like meaning showing your body or anything of that nature. However, when I lived in California, I worked for a man shortly where he sold the pills that make men, what is it, Viagra? Yeah, make them hard, longer, whatever, okay? So I start this job, this is hilarious. And basically, the man is teaching me how to talk to lonely men, like how to arouse men. This sounds so crazy because at this time I was terrified. Looking back, it actually was a good learning experience for me to understand kind of that facet of business in the aspect of men that are looking for companionship in any way possible that they can get it. And what was really interesting is how different we see things as women and men. For me, I thought I was just having a conversation. Whereas for him, it was like, no, all this is like you're climbing up a ladder to get them at a higher point to where it's like, I need $500 worth of these pills, because if I do, then this woman that I'm on the phone with right now, this is the kind of women that I'm gonna get if I have these pills. That was basically what it was. Another job I had, basically, I don't want to say the company's name, but they're pretty well known. But let's say you're famous, super famous. Let's say maybe you're a millionaire, billionaire. Maybe you're low profile, but you're rich, but you need to get into the dating world because you want that companionship, but you don't want to get on dating apps, you don't want to get on LinkedIn, and you don't want to do anything to where you're actually like doing the work of finding that companion. So basically my job was to lure these men in, to schedule them to meet with our dating advisors to then get access to the pool of women that we had in that network that were also successful. So I did very well. Let me tell you, it's crazy the amount of money that men will pay to just get a date. I mean, I remember one time I sold like $5,000, like literally $5,000 package for this man to just have access to high profiled women. Great job, really great experience, but you're learning how to manipulate people. That is really the name of the game. It's the same with sales. Sales technically is marketing and manipulation. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day, and that's why a lot of people don't do well in sales unless they're a hunter. They gotta be, you know what I mean? If you're not coming with it, you're gonna get knocked off real quick. That's just how sales rolls. So it's so interesting that he's saying this right now. And as a woman, I know he's right. And I have to say that. Because us as women, we don't realize how much money goes into it unless you're on the other side normally. Meaning prostitution, maybe OF, that side. But there's another side that's just solely lying and just writing checks. I'm gonna be honest with you. But yeah, if y'all want a real thorough story time on those two jobs, please let me know, because that experience was insane.
Saying all the wrong shit, man.
And I wonder
Yeah.
if part of him maybe enjoyed flirting with men a little bit, but that's just my curiosity. But also, again, can someone...
For me, it was not enjoyable. If anything, you feel very fake, sleazy, and disgusting at the end of the day.
Please tell me how this isn't a beta thing to do. For 15 hours a day, Andrew is sitting behind a computer on a keyboard talking and flirting to lonely men.
You're talking to fucking ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money
Hard.
Please, because once again, I'm just a dumb bitch. I don't know anything, but can someone please explain how this is an alpha thing to do that makes Andrew a top G? On the Full Send podcast, Andrew explained how he emotionally manipulated hundreds of men.
See what I'm saying?
AKA scammed, because these men
It is a
did
scam.
not know they weren't talking to women, and he scammed them out of millions and millions of dollars, according to him.
What's crazy is there's so many people doing this. He's just doing it publicly. I don't know why he's doing it, but I mean, yeah, there's companies that have been in business for over 10 years doing this. Like, I worked at one of them, and the name of the game is manipulating men. That's it. And the coldest girls that could do it when I was working there were the baddest ones. I'm gonna be honest. We were bad. Like, we were good. I don't know. We were just good. And then we would get, a new girl would come in, and you could just tell, yeah, she's not gonna be good, right? Because if a man just comes at you, I mean, literally 67 years old, he can just come at you like, look, listen, I don't have time for this. Why are you on this phone right now? I don't like, how did you get my number? And you have to maneuver through this phone call to get them to care about their love life. It is crazy. The script, the details that I even feel bad saying this, because the fact that I know the education to do said thing, you know what I mean? It's crazy what they will teach you. It's crazy. Like, look for these jobs. They're insane, for real.
To the point where we had these guys falling in love with my models. Serious, big
They will fall in love, yeah.
Sending crazy money.
Yeah.
Here's the bonus that
Add you on LinkedIn, stock, all of that.
Total million.
Been there.
Wow. About a mil in about a year.
That's crazy. And the thing is that's not even what he did is not something somebody else can't do. I'm not even kidding you. Maybe to the scale? Yeah, maybe not. But there's so many people who do it, yo. It's insane.
Alleges that he had them selling their houses and cars in order to feed their addiction.
I'm not kidding you. There are some scary men out there, for real.
Selling their houses, life savings,
crazy
loans,
stuff.
all of it.
It's crazy. It is.
So Andrew must have been really, really good at flirting with these men. I mean,
manipulating
girls up, gaslight, gatekeep,
yeah,
boss.
basically.
And Andrew was really killing it in all those categories.
That's crazy.
And this exotic underground empire made Andrew and his brother multi-millionaires.
Really?
Webcam girls would remind them of the break.
And I also think it's important to note that all the while, Andrew was learning the inner psyche of lonely, desperate
yes
men. And I don't think it's a stretch to...
Learning it is scary. I had one guy, y'all, the flashbacks of this job, I didn't know that he did this, you guys. So it's just, I had a man cry. Like, I remember, I felt so bad. I had a man crying. He was like 74, you guys. Like, he lost his wife. His wife died. He was a widow for like 3 years. Like, and we were on the phone for 2 hours. Like, these are not like sales these are not like quick sales cycles. You have to really get into their psyche. You have to start to like, and then, oh my God, I had to quit that job. I felt so bad, bro. Like even talking about it now, I feel so slimy, because yeah, the second they start, oh, well, I haven't had sex, and you know, what if I forget? You're not gonna forget, George. How could you forget, George? Think about how amazing you are. You own over 3 companies globally. I mean, I would be lucky to be with you. Do you hear how quickly that just came out of my mouth? Like, that's what they're teaching you in the, like, let me shut up.
Say that experience greatly helped him with the career he has now. Just a thought, maybe sit with that for a little bit.
Right.
Think it over. Don't be angry at the messenger. But I think at
I'm
some
done.
point, Andrew got really tired of just sitting behind a computer. He wanted to be the face. He wanted to be the star. So he set out
Sagittarius
on a journey
energy
to try and accomplish just that.
My
In
midheaven's in
2016,
Sagittarius.
Andrew was selected as a contestant on the 17th season of the British reality
Oh, he was on Big
television
Brother?
series Big Brother.
Everything is going to change.
That's why he looks familiar. Oh.
We'll be friends 10 minutes after I arrive. That's an absolute guarantee.
Big Brother is a social experiment
I'm
reality
screaming.
show where basically a bunch of people are locked in a small space with a bunch of other people, and they all have to get along while having no contact with the outside world. I mean, they could
What is this man's net worth? Because I actually don't know. Hold on, let me look it up.
have just brought a camera crew to a family vacation. During Andrew's appearance on Big Brother, he quickly came under fire for his phobic and racist comments on Twitter.
He
On
racist
top of
too?
that, a video
Your dad
was
is black.
released in which Tate appeared to be a woman with a belt. So Tate was removed from the show after only 6 days of participation.
Not $355 million. Oh, that man played the game good. Not 350. You guys allowed this man to get to $355 million net worth? I don't know when this world's going to understand that attention is currency. I don't know. I don't know. Like, are we ever going to get to a point where it's like, wait, let's not give that attention because that's currency. Are we ever going to get there? Because that's how that happened. Just let y'all know.
Participation.
Because
Due to
yo,
events in the outside world,
155 million. Okay.
has had to leave the Big
I'm gonna
Brother
shut up.
house.
Let me hear what your life was like.
Why they kicked me out? I don't think it's any of the reasons they said it was. I know something came out in the paper, whatever, but things came out in the paper about everybody.
I can see him
Nothing came out
beating
in the
a
paper.
woman. I can see
It's
it.
bullshit anyway, and it was refuted by anyone involved, so that's bullshit.
And a second video emerged shortly after, in which Tate is shown telling a woman to count all of the bruises he allegedly gave her. But both Tate and the woman apparently denied that any abuse had occurred. I mean, I'm not gonna shame, but a former kickboxer telling a woman to count the amount of bruises he gave her, that's a little suspicious. Or at the very least, not a good look. But oddly enough, this entire
And she didn't say nothing? Okay, if she didn't say nothing, then yeah, we know what that was. And I'm gonna leave that there. Anyways.
disaster ended up helping Tate gain a following on Twitter from people who, well, agreed with him. The social media algorithms
That's
are
crazy.
designed to tailor content to you as a viewer, no matter what your life view is, and no matter what your stances are. And
Right.
this is the social media echo chamber that we're all living under,
Facts.
where we're presented with so many people who think like us that it's harder to examine opposing viewpoints or even realize that other viewpoints exist out there.
And that right there is so true, because when I was on TikTok and the Andrew Tate content that I was getting was very much what technically it should be, right? I'm a woman, I have a vagina, obviously I shouldn't be interested in this man's content. I should be on the side of, yes, let's take him down. So that was the content that I was seeing. But then when I would go to Instagram and I would be on my close friends, not my close friends, but guy friends that I have as friends that I've known for like years, when I'm on their close friends, they would post content of Andrew Tate that had nothing to do with hating women. And sometimes some of the advice or things that he was saying was actually interesting or introspective. And it was weird, because then I had these two like conflicting opinions where I was like, oh, wow, okay. So what the heck? So I remember I started even asking a lot of my guy friends, like, hey, explain to me why you like this candidate. Not me talking like a recruiter. Explain to me why you like this content creator. Explain to me why you like Andrew Tate. And some of the answers were very interesting. None of them surrounded his thoughts of women. All of them surrounded more of like how he's gotten to where he is, his ambition, his storytelling, you know, just accomplishments and stuff of that nature. But I have not came across a guy that will openly tell me that he agrees with Andrew Tate's viewpoints of women. I don't know if that may be something they're not comfortable telling me, but I haven't came across any of my guy friends agreeing with said conversation. But I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say I haven't had conversations with men talking about their disagreements with females. I've definitely had those conversations, and I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes I do agree with men when they do have these conversations or when they do bring up these conversations, but that isn't necessarily to say that I don't see the female side, because I do. So it's interesting, but I think people need to have what she just said is like the discernment.
Put it out the coupe in the lot.